Yep. Did you get a new date for your appointments?
Hi, Erica.
Hi, Chip. I have 2 chip castles.
2 Chip Castles. The other guy's an imposter.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's my evil twin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one with the mustache then. That's how they
Yeah,
always do
actually, it's coming back, but
that.
couple of days.
Well, we'll see.
Yep. I gotta get my coffee. I'll be right with you.
No problem.
So I guess I'm still on the task force.
Yeah, I guess. I asked the other chip castle, but did you get another appointment scheduled?
No, they just said they appointed me for 2 years, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent Nicholas' response to you. I forwarded it to you. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
I did
I
not.
apologize for missing the meeting and all that stuff. And he said, no problem. You got reappointed for 2 years or something like that. So
I'll work with it.
works
Okay.
for me. Works for me.
Hi, Miriam.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Brooke.
There. Oh, goodness. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's probably better without that.
I am going to turn my phone off for the duration.
Where are you, by the way? Are you in that same room?
I am in the public safety building in their training room.
Where's that?
It's it's by the Salvation Army. It's a police station.
Thank you.
No problem. Hi, Phil.
It's on for.
Okay,
Sorry,
I-
I'm unmuted now.
no worries.
I always forget.
Okay, I'm gonna the only person I heard from was Joe, and he said he's running a little late, but he has COVID, so he has a good excuse. Oh, there's Steve. Oh, the gang's all here except for Joe, and Joe said he was running a little late, so we're gonna give him that. So I'm going to, well, I'm gonna do it right on the dot. Okay, I'm gonna say this is 7 o'clock, even though 7 o'clock on the dot. Where's Big Weenie? So good evening. I'm gonna call it 7 o'clock. I'm gonna call this meeting of the Homelessness Task Force to order. And we have a quorum. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. I know my mic is sometimes not that great. So welcome, everybody. And we do have a new member. Miriam, welcome. If we could just do a quick round of intros, and Miriam, when it comes to you, if you want to say anything, that would be super. If not, that's fine. So I'll start. My name is Erica Rail. I'm chair of the Homelessness Task Force. I am a Ward 3 resident of Barre City. And that's me. I'm gonna do a popcorn over to Phil.
Okay, Philip Morris. I'm a resident of Barre City. I've been on the task force a little over a year. Guess that's about it.
Popcorn over to the real Chip Castle.
Yes. I don't know who that other guy is, but he's
Oh,
with
yeah,
me.
there are two of you, aren't there?
He's with me everywhere. Yeah, undercover. Chip Castle, and I'm retired recently. I was the former director of the Barre Housing Authority for 17 years or so. Before that, director of the Council on Aging for 15 or 16 years, and State Office on Aging before that. So, and that's it.
Dr. Finner, would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Steve Finner, Ward 2. I'm the vice chairperson of the task force, and I am in the middle of COVID. So I will probably, after dealing with a couple of items early on the agenda, just turn off my camera and rest and listen primarily. And Miriam, I do hope when you introduce yourself that we can see you, since this is a public meeting being recorded. I expected Joseph Mueller tonight, and we also have Jeremy Wynn, who was approved last night for membership by the council. I don't know if he plans on coming or not, but we have those three new members, Joseph, Miriam, and Jeremy, all of whom are city residents.
So Stephen, I did announce that Joe did contact me. He's going to be a little late tonight. And I did not
Thank
hear
you.
from, so go ahead,
you.
Chip.
I forgot to say, I'm not a city resident. I live in the town.
We accept you as you are.
Well, and Brooke also, who is now our staff liaison, also lives out of the city.
And we love Brooke. Brooke, would you go ahead and introduce yourself and your role, please?
Sure. My name is Barre. I'm the Community Outreach Specialist for Barre City Police Department. Yeah, I do live in Chittenden County, but work in Barre and very concerned with what's going on with our homeless population. And also on the other municipalities. So I didn't get any notes from Ken, but I can do an update from last week on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Brooke. And Miriam, would you like to go ahead?
Hi, I'm glad it's just these people on this committee tonight. Thank goodness. It's been really intense. I've never been on committees or gone to councils or things like that. So I'm kind of getting used to the process. I have real serious issues with being on camera. It's nothing personal. Maybe at some point after I get used to you all a little bit, I will stick the top of my head in a frame. You just gotta bear with me. I work with homeless people. I have been a homeless person. I am not currently homeless. I am currently living in Barre. I have lived in Barre before. I moved to Vermont in 1995. I lived here for a long time, and then I moved away for a long time, and I just moved back. And I'm super happy to be here. And yeah, I feel like I just ended up in a certain place at a certain time where I found my skills of use to my community. So that's why I'm here. And I thank Erica for bringing me in. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you very much, Miriam, and all of you for bearing with me for doing introductions. Yeah, as Miriam says, it's been a difficult, if you've been following the news as of late, it's been a very busy couple of months or weeks or day. I don't even know what day it is anymore. So moving right along, do we have any adjustments to the agenda? Stephen?
Yes, I would like to take a moment to explain where people can always find the agenda and minutes. Uh, If you go to the Barre City website and you click on Council and Committees, and then you click on the most recent agenda for the City Council, following that, there will be agendas listed for other dates, and they are the dates of the meetings of cities' various committees and task forces. So if you do it for the first week of the month and go down to the Wednesday of that, the first Wednesday of the month, and click on that agenda date, you will always get the agenda that has been posted for meetings of this task force. Also, the agenda is always posted by the city manager on Front Porch Forum for Barre City. So it is easy to locate the document once you get used to it. And even though we do send out to all of you, sometimes it gets lost in your spam file somewhere. So that is the way to locate it. And that's the extent of what I have to share. And as I said, since I'm fading with COVID, I will probably go dark for a while. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Any other adjustments to the agenda? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna, I know we should go by Robert's rules. I'm fighting migraine. I don't have any notes from Ken tonight. Okay. But there's more in the chat. But I could report how Washington County serves are coordinating. Okay, great. And Brooke, I do have you on the agenda, and I'm gonna try to speed some stuff up because I know that we have some folks with COVID and we have some folks with migraines, and I know how migraines are, and they're horrendous. I was actually expecting some folks for public comment because there's been a lot of public comment as of late, and I don't see anybody for public comment. Am I missing anybody? No. All right. Has everybody read the past minutes?
I didn't receive them. I was out of town, so I didn't do the minutes last meeting.
Okay.
I definitely didn't read them, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's probably
So-
why I read them, yeah.
So Phil, so we're gonna table that, and if you could get those out to us, then we will table those and put them out for, who did the minutes last? It
I
was
was
you, right?
last meeting, so I can't. I don't know what happened, yeah.
So I should probably find the last, okay, so I will find the last minute meetings and send them out. So it's probably up to me, so I'll make a note. Erica, fine.
I can
Yeah.
see too, like, meetings,
What?
so I can see like too what I have. I usually take notes during our meetings, so I can see what I have and share them with you.
That'd be great, Brooke. And they actually, Phil, I need to touch base with you because they redid the meeting for the minutes format.
Okay,
And so we need to touch base at some point. If you could email me, just, it'll take like 5 minutes to go over that. So
sure.
we'll touch base. So Brooke, if you could send me that, that'd be great. And we'll just table that and vote on that in the next meeting. How's that sound? So yeah, this is speeding right along better than I thought. Update on hotel exit. So Brooke, I'm gonna put you on the spot for a minute.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So do you want, so last week went relatively smoothly. We had some, like, we have service providers at each motel that was doing the exit, and we put together like different flyers of information that they could share. And we're also meeting tomorrow at 12:30 to then discuss what next week will look like between the 2 hotels that got extended.
I'm having difficulty understanding her.
Me as
So-
well.
Thank
I
you.
can't understand it.
So, no, it's okay. So I'll translate a little bit. Brooke, you are staticky a little bit. So the last exit went relatively smoothly, and they're meeting at 12:30 tomorrow to talk about the next exiting.
Correct. I'm gonna call in from my phone so you guys can hear me better.
Okay.
Okay, and then I have a question. The next exiting, that would be around the 15th?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, because it's those 2 motels that extended the stay for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay,
So she's gonna call in by phone, and
okay.
I hope Brooke is still listening.
Yep.
So from my understanding, there's been summits between, oh, there's Samantha. There's been summits with Montpelier, Berlin, and Montpelier about how we're coordinating services. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And those.
Sorry, guys.
so-
Give me one more second.
No problem. No problem. And so those are like Washington County Mental Health, Another Way, Good Sam, y'all, and the mayors of and select boards. Or
Correct.
city council, yeah.
And it's the police chiefs as well.
Okay. And those are happening. I know there was one tonight.
Yep.
And those
Every
also
Wednesday.
every Wednesday. And are those for public as well,
Yes.
or are those, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
And where do they meet?
In my at their city hall, right in front of the police station.
Okay, yeah.
Why isn't this connecting?
And so are those notes going out to the public, or where are those notes going out to? Because I haven't seen any of those notes.
To this. Okay, to the service providers mainly, and the meetings.
To the service providers?
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh, guys.
okay.
Connect.
And so the next
Can I ask a
wave,
question?
go ahead.
I just wonder, is Barre Town involved at all in any of this stuff? The police or the town manager or anybody there?
Maybe the town manager. Oh, guys, my phone is even just connected. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll keep working on it.
So the next
Bye.
wave on the 15th, they're expecting 32 people to be exited.
Correct.
Right. And then, so I just have the numbers in front of me. On July 1st, there'll be 4 people, and then the big wave is July 29th with 62 people exited.
Can I ask a logistical question that may have been covered because I was late?
Sure, go ahead, Samantha.
And sorry, it was Spalding scholarship night, and I had to go with my son. So is there accurate contact info for people as they're leaving the hotels? Like, is that being aggregated somewhere?
Well, that's an echo. So contact
Oh, okay, I
info
thought it was my phone.
for,
I was like,
So contact info as is, are people getting like contact information to service providers or?
Right, is that data being compiled so that at least there's some way to check on these people or, something?
So yes, so as people are leaving the hotel, they're getting, people are checking who they are, where they're going. There's outreach workers, trying to figure out what services they need. And that sort of thing, yes.
And
Okay.
also, sorry, now I'm on my phone, so can you hear me better?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Significantly.
Okay, sorry about all of that. So yes, and we have made sure to tell whoever's at the hotel, whether it's the family center, whether it's the Capstone ride share people or whoever, if they're referring people outside, to refer them to Dawn and Amelia at the Good Sam so they can keep track of who's where, only for the fact of safety, so that they can get any provisions and food and whatnot. So we're really trying to keep track of who is where when we can.
Okay, so does anybody else have any questions about the Hotel X program? Oh, so sorry,
And-
the last date. Sorry, I have to open my phone again. The last date is September 23rd. It's a big wave, which is 76 people being exited.
And I can pass those notes on to you, Erica, from the Wednesday meetings.
Okay. Because I
And
don't go to
then,
I don't go to the summit meetings, and I know that some people aren't aware that the summit meetings are happening.
okay, and Ken usually gets them out within, Ken Russell, sorry for everyone that doesn't know. Ken usually does get them out within a half an hour, but today I wasn't there because of my migraine, and I haven't gotten any notes yet. But as soon as I do, I can pass them on.
Okay. And they're not hybrid, are they? So people can't,
No, you have to be there in person.
okay. So any other questions
Yeah,
about,
when are those meetings again?
They're Wednesday nights at Wednesday afternoon, sorry, 4 o'clock in Montpelier. I can send the address also to Erica or to this group, actually. Sorry.
Thanks.
so go ahead, Deb.
I didn't hear a response about Barre Town. Are they involved at all with the homeless stuff? The chief of police or the city man or the town manager?
So I'm thinking their town manager may be involved, but I'm really not sure off the top of my head. And I'm thinking honestly of the people that have been there from the beginning. And I'm thinking maybe not even anyone, even though they've been contacted. But let me just triple check my notes because again, my brain's a fog right now.
I'm assuming some of these folks are from the town.
I would assume that as a Barre resident and the way that I have been treated at development review board meetings as somebody who's trying to develop low income housing, that they are not supportive of this and that they are not participating. And at least for the all in for Barre stuff, they made it very clear that this was a Barre city issue and they didn't want to take part. So it would not surprise me if they were not participating in any of this.
Well, that's certainly interesting because we know that people are probably going to go camping in Barre Town as well. So,
Oh yeah, they're already up on the bike path and the Millstone trails, and they're definitely up there. There's kind of signs of maybe not active encampments, but at least existing encampments on the bike path, off of the bike path.
yeah. And the bike path's been a known encampment site for years that I've known
Right,
about the
since
camp.
it's been in existence, right?
Yeah.
Right, it's secluded, but there's also, like, Berrytown does have porta potties at a lot of their bike path entrances and their walking path, their hiking paths and things like that. So it's not surprising that that's a prime spot. And they have a far smaller police department to patrol those things.
So, any other questions about what's going on in the hotel exit program?
And looking at my notes quickly, I'm not seeing any Berrytown emails or anything like that.
Okay.
So was there any action taken by the city council? They met last night, right?
Yeah, so that's a good segue. Thank you, Chip. So the action of city council is that they put their foot down. There's no camping in Barre City proper. The parks close at dusk. Basically there's no, trying to get my words correctly here. There is no ordinance that says there's no camping in Barre, but because all the ordinance policies say that everything's closed, so you're not supposed to camp. You're not supposed, everything closes at dusk, basically. But if a police officer or first responder come across a camper or somebody who's camping, they will be considerate about that camper. If they see that the person's in distress, or if they see the person, if it looks uninhabitable or uncleanly, or if the person is in need of services, they will help the person. But if the person is not, not trespassing, or not in somebody's right of way, they'll leave the person alone or look the other way. But they will try to get the person the services they need.
So was I incorrect in my assumption that there's no prohibition on camping on private land, right? All of those conversations were specifically centered around public lands, meaning city parks, cemeteries, cow pasture, things like that. There's no prohibition on private land, right?
If the person has permission to camp on private land, like if a person wants to set up a camp, a tent on my land, and they have permission from me, that's fine.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything negative about it. I mean, I can, I can set up a tent on my land, and not that I have much of it, but
right. I just wanted to make sure that my assumption was clear, and that those conversations were based solely around public land. So essentially, if there was a vacant lot somewhere that was owned privately, like there's a lot of the paper lots off the paper streets that are privately owned, but still kind of in the woods, so that the police won't be harassing people there. Is that correct? Or not even harassing, but kind of coming upon those people.
If it's clean to clutter, and there's if it's hygienic,
Right.
there's not, you know what I mean, hygienic,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
you know what I mean. If it's
I do.
clean,
I know exactly what you mean. Right.
then no. I mean, as
Right.
long as the person has. Brooke, am I incorrect by assuming that?
I mean, that's how I would understand
Okay.
it as well. I can triple check tomorrow if we want me to.
Yeah.
And it would be up to, at that point, it would be up to that private landowner to be the one complaining
Mhm.
to the police
Exactly.
to have them removed. Okay. Just
Right.
wanted to make sure that was an option for people.
Right. It's like if somebody wants to, if I wanted to go, take, put up a tent on my 0.3 acres and, spend the night, who's to say anything?
I guess my question was more to, we had the meeting on Monday, that emergency meeting, and then Tuesday night, my understanding was that the city manager was going to do a presentation to the council, and did the council take any action, I guess was what I was asking.
That was, sorry, go ahead, Philip.
Well, I was just going to say, before you ask this question, in answer to your previous one, the city manager pretty much just rehashed almost verbatim what he did with us on Monday. And I mean, he did a great job, but the council didn't really take any action. It sounds like they're still negotiating with the state. They're waiting to hear about money. So it was pretty much exactly the same thing. The BOR is kind of their go-to. And I think about the camping, where you might get into trouble for what I was understanding is I could have one person camp on my land, but I think when you get up to 3, it's going to trigger some other things that need to be in place. And then if you get up to 5, you almost have like a campground, and it triggers some, I think that's what they were trying to say without actually say that. I think that's what Nicholas was trying to get across.
Yeah, I think I vaguely think that. I think I have to look at there's a whole spreadsheet that he did about camping and yeah.
And I was kind of glossing over that, but after Samantha's question, I think that's what he was saying is you can't just have 10 acres in the city and open it up and have 10 people camp there. Then you've got a whole new barrel of fish. You've got to have sanitation and yeah. So.
Yeah, thank you. I think there was a whole, I mean, I think there's a whole, he did a whole page on what an encampment and what camping. Yeah, you are very correct. Thank you, Phil. So next on our, they're going to go ahead and look at the BOR and look at that project, which would include opening it up, or possibly, it's still, these are all maybes, pie in the sky, opening the BOR up, looking at possibly having showers, temporary showers, temporary porta potty, security, staffing, an ice box for food, beds. I believe we already have beds up there from when we use it for a shelter, and what that would look like. It would be the state footing the bill until September 1st. After September 1st is unknown. How many people that would use it is unknown. Will the state finance it is unknown, but it's a temporary fix. And I think that's all we have right now are temporary fixes until we don't know. The other thing I have heard come down the pipes, and these are rumors, is that Good Sam is looking at possibly getting another shelter, but that's again a pie in the sky looking at. And then there's also Burlington is looking at renovating an office building. So these are all, could be, should be's, maybes. And so thoughts, ideas.
Well, if the state doesn't fund it, then the BOR is out of the picture, right?
Right.
So then what?
What about the parking lot for camping? Is that totally out? Because it seemed like if they couldn't go inside, they might be able to do something outside.
The parking lot for camping is an idea. It's not a great idea. I mean, nothing's a great idea. Another idea is we also have people that are sleeping in their cars. Another idea is some of the churches have parking lots where people could stay.
Mhm.
You know, another thing that we were tasked to look at, and I'm putting it out there so we could also think about this while we're thinking, it are porta potties. You know, porta potties are needed. We could use them no matter if you're homeless or not. Samantha had some great ideas. I'm putting her on the spot. I apologize, of where we could have porta potties. A couple ideas is having one directly downtown, one at the BOR. And I see Steve has his hand up.
The impression I got from our meeting the other night is that the city is willing to put up porta potties independent of any decisions that are made about the BOR. There was a discussion as to possible locations. And I would suggest that this task force tonight pass a resolution calling upon the city to move ahead with plans for porta potties independent of any other actions that may be taken.
Well, Stephen, we can't pass a resolution. We can only make recommendations. And I think we would recommend where I know potato, but we would make a recommendation of where the porta potty should go.
I stand corrected about a resolution. I agree that we should make a recommendation. I am willing to defer some of the decision making as to where they would go to the city officials. I don't know the city well enough to have confidence in expressing my own thoughts about it, but I really think what you say about a recommendation that they move ahead is a very good idea.
So we can look at our time. We can go, you know, we can discuss the BOR if we feel that's a good idea. Or, you know, we can look at porta potties, which is a very real idea, and look at that.
Well,
And I think the porta potty thing, I think that benefits literally everybody in the city. So I think that's, like I said last night, or the low hanging fruit. Nobody should really be objecting to access to toilets for anybody.
Okay, I see Miriam has her hand up.
I wrote down, I think it was actually both Erica and Samantha who were making these suggestions, but at that meeting, I heard the BOR, Church Street, City Park, and the bike path.
Mhm.
Okay,
For porta potty locations, yes.
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 Stephen, you have your hand up?
Yes, I think that a discussion of porta potties is much more fruitful for us. The BOR matter is really out of the hands of the task force at this time, because it's in negotiations between the city and the state. But I think we are collectively well positioned to make suggestions to the city about locations of porta potties. I defer to the rest of you on that. You all know more about the city than I do.
So Stephen, I'm going to interrupt you and say, we're talking about porta potty at the BOR, not just the BOR.
No, porta potties in the city is my understanding what we are talking about now.
Right, and the BOR is in the city.
Yes, but I'm saying that the question of the BOR being used as a facility is beyond our.
Gotcha. Thank you.
The-
Brooke, you have your,
The other point was using the parking lot as a campsite.
Yeah,
Let's
if-
stick to the porta potty question right now.
Well,
Okay.
that's
One
what
thing on the
that's what I'm
table.
trying to say. If the inside of the ice hockey arena is not gonna go anywhere, they still have the option on the table of using the parking lot where you would need showers and porta potties.
yes. Thank you, Chip. Brooke, you have your hand up?
Yes, just comment, which maybe again, brains all fuzzy. But these porta potties are only temporary for however long, correct? That this exit goes on, is how I understood it Monday. I could be way off, way off.
That's
No.
what I heard too.
That's what
You
I
are-
heard. As
You
long
are
as
correct.
the state was
you-
on the hook for the cost, they would do it, yeah.
You
Yes.
are correct. They are temporary, but I'll take temporary porta potties.
Oh,
Well, and I-
absolutely. Sorry, I was just wanting to clarify. Sorry, absolutely. I'll take anything right now.
No,
And-
and I
and-
thank you. I thank you for clarifying. Miriam, is that a new hand?
Yeah, how, do we know how many?
3.
Wow, okay.
That's all
And
they're going
so-
to allot us is 3.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. 3.
Well, and there
Wow.
were four locations.
Brooke, is there any other place that, since you actually go into these encampments on a fairly regular basis, is there any other place that you think would be a good location for them that we are maybe not thinking of?
Actually, just to be clear, like I have not gone into any of the encampments in the
Oh,
last
okay.
week and a half. So I just want to be clear, like I don't want to present that I'm something that I'm not.
Right.
But I was thinking that I thought that they were also talking about the Two Rivers campsite, maybe, and then I don't know. But and then yeah, they had many discussions, but I think that was one of the other ones. And then they mentioned somewhere like downtown, but yeah, that's kind of all I remember.
So it's my understanding that Two Rivers has a porta potty.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
what I heard.
Maybe that's an updated thing. So I thought they only had water. So that'd be fantastic if that's true.
I
Sorry.
can, I can double check, but I thought Two Rivers had porta potties, but if Two Rivers doesn't, then. But I'm thinking, so Phil, you have is that a new hand, Phil?
It is. I mean, go ahead and finish, then.
No, I'm just thinking because a lot of the encampments are just surrounded, a lot of our encampments are surrounded or basically centralized, clustered within the city, the bike trail, the BOR, Church Street, and the bike trail makes sense to me. And it's my understanding that Two Rivers does have a porta potty. And there are other encampments, but they're a little further away. So those make good sense to where that if we have 3 porta potties, those make good sense to me. That's all I wanted to say. Sorry, Phil, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, nothing to be sorry about. I just wanted to get back to Chip's question about the parking lots. The city manager really didn't present any of the alternatives that came up on Monday. He simply presented that the BOR was what people thought was the best choice. People did not want any ordinance changes to allow camping. You think that's fair, Erica? I know you were there.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. So the parking lot just never came up. So good choice, bad choice, I don't know. Yeah.
So the parking lot is off the table.
It's not off the table. It's kind of the parking lot's in the parking lot. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, I think if the BOR doesn't work out and people have no building, then the city's gonna have to look for alternatives, and that might be, at that point, maybe it'll be a consideration.
Miriam, is that?
honestly- oh.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Miriam had her hand up.
I thought actually that they said that they would consider the possibility of changing the policy for a period of time.
not last night's meeting.
Oh,
That's,
no, okay.
and the minutes
It
are
would-
not.
I wasn't, yeah, I didn't make it to the end of, I was only at Monday. Sorry.
And it would
They-
just take a variance to
Right.
do that. And honestly, you know, who knows what's going to happen, but if a state of emergency was declared, even on a local basis, then it kind of, it allows for a variance without going through an actual process to do that. So it's not absolutely impossible to kind of change some of these ordinances around camping and where that can be done. It would just take a couple of extra steps. But depending on how many people are actually exited and what ends up happening, it is not unrealistic to expect that a variance could be given.
Right. I think once they figure out what's going on with the BOR.
Right. The
That's-
reality is right now, the numbers, this is all speculation. We have no idea if there's going to be 6 people that are camping or 80 people camping. And until people are truly out of the hotels, we are not going to have any idea.
Mhm.
And I think, again, Samantha hit the nail on the head where we're planning for so many unknowns. And it's, you know, and it's the unknown part. I think it's the unknown that is scary to people. It's the unknown that we're planning for this. It's the unknown that we don't know how many people are actually gonna come to the BOR. We don't know where the folks are, and we don't know, you know, it's, you know, if it's just the unknown factor. It's like if you have a party, you know, anyway, sorry, I'm just.
Yeah, and in terms of camping, God, what makes the most sense to me is that it's somewhere visible. And I know that is not what people want to see, but the amount of calls in terms of emergency services that are to the hotels on a daily basis, whether it's medical calls or the need for law enforcement, they really, camping in the woods is not an appropriate solution. It needs to be somewhere that is easily accessible by emergency vehicles and that is able to be monitored. So
Exactly.
something open like a parking lot, or as much as people don't like it, Courier Park, or, you know, things like that. Something that's not, you can get an ambulance into Courier Park. You cannot get an ambulance into Canales Woods. You cannot get an ambulance into the cow pasture. The police and the EMS do not have ATVs to be able to respond to emergencies should they arise in the woods.
All right. So,
I
all
would
right,
just say, from the perspective of the campers, I mean, I've never been homeless and I've never had to camp outside, but if it were me, I would be looking for something in the woods, small.
Yeah.
The heck with the city and the ambulances and stuff like that. These people don't want to be probably at the BOR parking lot or in City Hall Park or Courier Park. You know, if they have to hoof it, you know, find a place that's safe.
Right. And that's the safety is the piece that I'm
Right.
concerned about.
Well, it's-
You know, and
it's-
I always look at everything from the position of a mother. I've got, you know, half a dozen minor children. I'm always looking at things like, if I were homeless with my children, and I've been in that position, I've been homeless with a child. If I were homeless with my children, I would not want to be in the middle of the woods without any oversight. You know, while it may not be my first choice to be somewhere like in the center of a city park where there was lights and, you know, people, I feel like that ultimately would probably be a safer situation than in the woods. But, you know, who knows? We are kind of at unprecedented times right now.
so speaking of which, so I'm gonna kind of, we're at 7:45, and as you all know from past meetings with me, I'm very mindful of times because time is precious. To wrap this up, I'm gonna make a suggestion to the mayor on behalf of us, is that we're gonna suggest bathrooms, and please correct me if I'm wrong, at the BOR, on Church Street, and on the bike trail. And we would like to, go ahead, Stephen.
I heard you say that the city is currently willing to put up 3 porta potties. Is there any reason why we cannot recommend that they consider 4 or 5 porta potties?
We can definitely make that up.
I would favor doing that. I understand it's only a recommendation and suggestion, but it certainly would not hurt. And I agree that the anticipation is that porta potties will be for a relatively short period. However, the council may want to consider a more permanent arrangement as we move forward, because the situation regarding the unhoused is going to be with us for a long time.
You know, and also the need to go to the bathroom is going to be with us for a long time, not just for the unhoused.
And I've noticed that as you get older, the need arises more frequently.
No worries. We can make that ask. I'm, why not? I have never hurts to ask, right?
Well, if we don't have any objections, why don't you just go ahead and do it?
The,
Do we
the
have-
state is paying for these, is that correct?
That's correct.
So maybe they put a limit on it, but if we can get 5, let's get 5.
So
Why
where
not?
should we
We
put
are
the other
not
two?
talking about a big expense relative to the city budget, so I don't think we need to be concerned at this time. They can
So-
raise your taxes $1.50 a year.
So Samantha asked a very poignant question, where do we want to put the other two? We have BOR, Church Street, the bike trail.
I'm willing to defer to the city if they're willing to put up 2 more, and that minds some locations that they think are safe and workable, wherever they decide to do it.
So Brooke, do you know where people have said they're going to be camping?
In
Or would
Barre?
maybe or maybe the good Sam would have a better idea of where people are congregating in the woods.
I think, oh my God. Let me look at my notes. I'm so sorry. But I know that there was a place where Chief was talking about like again, informal campsite last week. And I know people like hang out down by the place that they call the beach. And I know people have talked about right outside of City Hall, because there have been people defecating outside of City Hall. So that could have been one of the things that was also mentioned. But let me refer to my notes quickly and I will see if I can find that, and then I'll just type it in the chat.
So if we had it on Church Street, that would have hopefully alleviate, sorry, that was bad pun. That would
Yeah.
hopefully, I did not mean for that. That would hopefully help with the City Hall problem.
Right.
But what about what's the area behind City Hall? Is that Merchants Row? I can never remember that.
Yeah.
So what about Merchants Row?
Excuse me.
Not a problem.
Erica, were you asking me that?
I was
Or just
asking
in general?
anybody that was listening.
I was like, I'm looking. Okay. I mean, I think that would be fabulous.
All right, so is everybody okay with Merchants Row? Like, I mean, I know when people come out of Gusto's, looking for their car. I know one of the problems that in my players, people come out of Charlie O's and they go by Julio's and anyway, bad story. And it's being
And then
recorded.
so where is the beach area that you speak of?
I'm not
By
aware.
it's on the railroad, or near the railroad tracks, on the opposite side, headed up towards North Berry Manor. Not
Oh.
that far. I've seen people come out of there after they go swimming in there, believe it or not, too, but I don't
They
know
also
if
go
it's an
fishing there.
encampment, but it's a place where people hang out and drink all the time.
Is it accessible by vehicle to get a pump truck in there? No. Okay.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's the beach.
Yeah. I guess I'm not familiar with what that is. So
Yeah, people also go fishing there. I know what you're talking about now.
Okay.
Okay, Brooke is looking at her notes. So the other thing that we can suggest is if the BOR inside the BOR does not pan out, that we could look for alternatives in parking lots. The parking lot, the BOR, church parking lots, talk to the faith groups about they're using their parking lots. Would that be, do people agree that would be an alternative?
I think that's a good idea. That there was mention of behind Enough Ministries. Enough Ministries has one parking space. That's all Washington Apartments and Jefferson Apartments and Barre Housing Authority.
That's
So-
what I was sure about. I knew some of it went there. Okay.
Yeah, they don't have any parking there, but they park all over there. But
Are
So,
there
yeah.
any churches that have been approached or are willing to offer up a community room or something like that so that at least there's some shelter? I know it wouldn't be private in by any means, but maybe specifically for the children, families with small children or young children.
So I know that Phil can answer some of this as well, but I know that working with the interfaith groups in Barre, they're not really set up for housing a lot of folks. But there's one church that is housing exactly that, a family. And but none of the churches are set up for housing folks right now.
Yeah, and I think another problem that goes with that, I mean, one that's pretty easy to remedy is the city would have to approve it. That's not a big deal. Staffing would be a real issue.
Miriam, could you speak about staffing the overflow? Because you worked there last winter. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
It's okay. I mean, in terms of what? In terms of how many people we needed or how it went or?
Like people you needed, training you had, all the things that went
Uh,
into it.
I didn't go to the training because they had the training at the beginning of the season and I came in at the end of the season when they were running out of people. And they just needed more people. And that's a concern. That's what I keep thinking about. Where are we gonna find the people to work there? So yeah, I guess what did we have? Like 2, 4, oh my gosh. We probably had up to 10 like regular employees and then probably at least that many volunteers who went in like at the beginning and the end of the shift, and there was like the 1 or 2 people who stayed all night. So I mean it worked pretty well once we got a routine down and everybody got settled in. There was definitely some tension because settling a bunch of people who were strangers to each other into a common space is just inherently problematic. And people need to just sort of move around and find their space in there. Like this is my cot, this is my area. And some people need to set up their cot in the same spot every night. Some people need to be near other certain people. It's a little community and it has to be respected as such. It's super hard, but it can be done. You just need a lot of respect and kindness and also really firm boundaries. I don't know, ask me questions.
Well,
So
I have
what-
one. How many people were in the shelter
We had space for 15.
so,
And I mean, I think technically we said 12 and then we would push it to 15 or 13. And then like in the dead of winter, it was like 15 a couple of nights.
okay, so then you had 15 guests and 10 regular employees and 10 volunteers?
No, there weren't like 10 people at a time. Like there would be like 2 or 3 volunteers who would come
Got it.
help set up. And then like the person who would be doing the overnight
The
would
overnight,
come,
okay.
and then they would spend their whole shift, and then like the volunteers would just be there for a couple hours and leave, and then the one person would be there. And then a couple of volunteers would come back in the morning to help with the whole process of breaking it down. Because we broke all the cots down and put them away and put all the blankets and pillows and stuff in bins and put all that.
Okay, thank you.
Because also, because you're working in a, sorry to interrupt, because you're working at a church, the church also has, you know, the church services, AA meetings, other stuff going on throughout the day. So Steve, you had a question?
No, I have a response to the question as to the capacity of churches to provide, you know, some stuff. And all the churches in Barre and in the Church Street complex
That away because the church needed their room during the day.
are
Mm.
serving meals. And obviously, when they are serving meals, the bathrooms are being used by many people living as an opportunity to wash up, etc. And in the cold weather, the churches, when they are serving meals, people do hang out, and the churches consider that they are offering a warming shelter, if only for a limited period of time. But there is no staffing attached to that. There are only the church volunteers.
So does that answer everybody's questions about, you know?
No, I mean, I was envisioning more of kind of that, not just an overflow or a nighttime shelter, but I'm talking that they could be there 24/7
Yeah.
until the hotel's open, or there's
That-
no
that-
space like that.
No,
Not a single one of these churches has an unoccupied room.
that's the problem, is that you need, for an unoccupied room, you need staffing.
The shelter doesn't allow 24/7.
It's a lot of staffing. That's a lot, you know. You know, it's, so anyway. So we have 2 minutes. So our next, so the other thing I was going to suggest real quick is, because we're at a little bit of a crisis, do we want to meet more there's an emergency going on over above me. Do we want to meet a little bit more frequently?
I think
I don't-
at least, well,
I don't have the capacity to meet any more frequently than we are, especially on Wednesdays.
How often are the meetings? Once a month?
Once a month?
It's just because people are coming out of motels. I feel like it's almost important to stay abreast of it. But I'm totally new here, so I don't know.
yeah, I mean,
Well-
there's a staggered leaving of the hotels. I think that we would be doing an injustice if we did not meet again until, you know, the first week in July, which, you know, that means we're not going to meet again till July 5th. That's two
That is-
full waves that would be exited in the time frame, including some children.
So that is correct. We do not have to meet as a quorum. If I'm going to, again, I apologize, because I'm in a public safety building, there's going to be stuff going on above me. I am going to, we don't all have to meet. I am aware that some people's schedules probably won't be able to. Would people mind if I try to meet again in this time in 2 weeks? I do not have a calendar in front of me, so could somebody shout me out that date?
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's a great
20
idea.
The 21st.
21st
Mhm.
of June?
Yep.
Mhm.
Of June at 7 p.m. I am going to try, I am fully aware that people have full schedules. Somebody just put something in the chat. I'm covering up.
I
Thank
put,
you.
it was just my email. Can I get on the list, on the distribution list, please? I know that I'm not an official member, but I would like to be on the official distribution list.
I
Okay,
will see to it that you get minutes, and I already gave instructions as to how you can access the agenda for these meetings.
okay. So
Thank
And
you.
if you weren't here for that, Samantha, contact me offline and I'll walk you through again. But anybody in the world can access the agenda for these meetings.
okay,
Right. I know that it's on the city website, but I mean, if there's any information sent out in the interim.
no,
Right.
not a problem. So I just put your contact in my notes. So I will get back to you as soon as I can. I probably won't send an email to Nicholas and Ryan until tomorrow morning about this. So I do apologize for that. I will send an email blind CC to all of you about this and then get back to you as soon as I can about a meeting in 2 weeks. I do
Yeah.
agree that, go ahead. Sorry, Phil.
I was gonna say that would be good for me. So
All right, awesome. So thank you all for all of your work. Please contact me if you need to. Yeah. So again, I apologize as I'm just very vigilant of time and I know time, again, we all have families we want to get back to or dinners we want to eat, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you all.
all right. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Erica.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.